Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and today let's have a look at the brand new update 2.1 for the Kuro Boeing 787-8. So this one features new ground roles, but most importantly the new flight model. So this is going to be quite an exciting one to depart on. We are sitting here at the gate at Paris-Orly for a flight up to Casablanca, a nice little 2-hour and 40-minute trip flown by real Boeing 787s. So, we are pretty much ready to go. Let me give you a very quick departure briefing so that you know where we are going. So, we are standing at Paris-Orly, and it's going to be a pushback with a taxi pretty much all around the corner. And let me quickly show you some charts so that you know where we are as well. So we're located right up here on 42 Bravo, pushback onto Whiskey 2, and we'll taxi via Whiskey 2 all the way over. And then somewhere over here we'll go still via Whiskey 2, so this is going to be a little bit confusing, into Whiskey 1, and up here we go for the full-length runway 25 departure. So a little bit confusing taxi route, but, well, it's Paris, what did you expect? Okay, so let's quickly have a look into the FMC, and in here we've got a flap 5 takeoff with 5.25 units of trim, speeds 37, 42, 51, and that is all set. And we're going to use LNAV and VNAV for the departure. Okay, our SID is going to be the Agopa 1 Romeo departure of runway 25, and we can find that on the departure chart right here. And this is for jets and props above flight level 195, so that does apply to us. Speed restriction 250 below level 100, and we are certainly going to abide that as well, as you can see. So routing is going to go straight at via waypoints 241, 246, which is an overflight point, waypoint 271 below 10,000, and thereafter we're going to go via Adaga and Agopa, climbing initially flight level 80, further clearance by air traffic control. Okay, and that is pretty much our plan for the day. So let's go ahead and read our pre-flight checklist in order to get ready. So park and brake, set, fuel control switches, cutoff, pre-flight checklist complete. Let's go ahead and request pushback clearance.
Locking gear.
So, cockpit ground, go ahead please. Can we pressurize hydraulics? Yes sir, you can pressurize. Okay, trim is set. Very quick look, doors are closed. Very good. Then let's do the before start checklist. Passenger signs on, MCP, v2.1 heading 255, altitude 8000. Takeoff speeds 137, 142, 151. CDU pre-flight complete. Trim 5.25 units, 0. Taxi and takeoff briefing completed. Beacon on before start checklist complete. Okay then. Park and brake released.
All engines clear.
Ready to go. So, I'm not even going to go over the entire changelog of the aircraft, because the important thing for us here is going to be just approaching it fresh-minded and enjoying it the way we are going to get it. Okay then. We should be pretty much ready for engine start any moment. However, I just want to be a little bit careful there, waiting for the engine start, because we have quite powerful engines and I at least want to be beyond the line over there. So we got to do that at the very least. So let's see then. We are becoming clear. Okay, starting the engines. Again, it's a 787, so we can't start both at the same time. Let's go ahead and do that. Engines are starting up. What is our pushback doing? Slowly starting to turn. It's a beautiful looking model, isn't it? I really like the way the livery looks, and I just like the way the airplane looks. Those modern designs really have their charm, don't they? Okay, let's go right back into the cockpit. We have 2 good starts.
Set parking brakes.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine.
Okay, APU off, anti-ice auto.
Parking gear.
Recall. Looks good. Okay then. Ops 5, flight controls. Full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, and standing by at the rudder. And just while I see it, let's actually set a proper IFR squawk here, 2003, something like that. Okay. So just waiting for the clear signal from the ground that we can do the rudder check, that he has disconnected everything, and then we can go.
Tow track disconnected. Bypass pin removed.
Okay, so rudder,
Left is clear. Right is clear.
clear left, full right, neutral, recall, checked, and before taxi checklist. Anti-ice, auto, recall, checked, auto brake, RTO, flight controls, checked, ground equipment, clear, APU, off. Before taxi checklist complete. Okay, off we go. Left side clear, right side clear. Park and brake off. Taxi. So this is going to take a little while, as we are going to go all the way around, but it also gives us a very nice tour of Jetstream Designs Paris Orly scenery. So I do hope you are going to enjoy that. At the same time, we can get our head-up display down and prepared already. So let's quickly talk about expectations. I am kind of expecting a little bit smoother flight there and a little bit smoother transition between the different trim states. That is mostly what I'm aiming for. There were a couple of notes in the changelog as well about ironing out some bumps and about getting the pitch attitude in a cruise ride. So that seems to be the most important things for us over here. And that is the expectation that I have from my flight model. Okay, taxi model, by the way, did you notice that during the turn we barely lost any ground speed? So that's also something that they worked on for this update. Okay then, let's use a little bit of thrust, get it up to 30 knots. After all, we are not here for taxiing, but we are here for flying today. And that looks better. Okay. So now comes the interesting part about taxiing in Orly. We've got to find the correct intersection where we want to move on to the other taxiways. So if we look at this, they're going straight ahead in Whiskey 2, but look at that. Whiskey 2 just becomes Whiskey 3 over here and stays Whiskey 2 on here. So we've got to take the airplane straight over and then onto here, onto Whiskey 2. That's, well, not quite what I would call logical, but then again we're in France, so not everything is logical in this country. And that seems quite alright. Okay, probably moving a little bit fast here. Let's apply a bit of brakes. Yeah, 35 knots is a bit too much. Okay, so over here is where Whiskey 2 becomes Whiskey 3, and we do not want to fall for that. So we are going to go straight. So that's Whiskey 3, and that's Whiskey 2 then. Would be nice if they had some big fat signs next to it, so that a low-manned pilot like myself could recognize that. But of course that would be too easy, huh? Okay, and now that we're done with the first part, let's go ahead to the second part, which is equally interesting, because that is up here. We're now Whiskey 2, and it's slightly left, but then first to the right. So we've got 3 taxiways over here, and that's the one we want to go into. So my GPS in my car would probably call that half right. And I honestly hate those half instructions of my GPS, so let's hope that we're gonna do it better this time. Okay, not this one, but slightly to the left. And then to the right over here. And that's gotta be it. Yes. Okay, and then immediately to the right again. And I believe this is it. Yeah, slightly left, then right again, and then we're at the holding point. So, really interesting taxi over here. Sometimes some airports are just interesting. I'll just keep it at that. Okay, so this is looking good though. Exactly what I'm looking for. Okay. And now that we are finally done with all those parts of the taxi, let's quickly talk about the takeoff briefing. Left seat, runway 25, flaps 5, noise abatement procedure 2, speeds 37, 42, 51, and we're going to buck up at 1500 feet. In case of engine out, straight ahead 3000 keeps us safe, and in case of all engines working, we're going to follow the SID, which is a slight left-hand turn, climbing initially flight level 80. Any questions? No questions, very good. Then let's do the before takeoff checklist. Flaps 5, before takeoff checklist complete. Okay, runway 24 is confirmed. So, lights on, transponder on, and we are good to go. Okay, ready? Take off. Stabilized. Set takeoff thrust. Takeoff thrust set, indications normal, 80 knots. Okay, I'm flying it all on the HUD right now. P1, rotate. Okay, need quite a bit of rudder and aileron for 13 knots of crosswind. Okay, gear up. So let's fly right into that flight director. And you can see it flies really well just on the HUD. So, trimming a little bit. Yeah, trimming still feels a little bit weird, I have to say. Okay, accelerating. Flaps 1. Yeah, the trim still feels a little bit off, I have to say. But apart from that, the pitch angle, the vertical speed I'm getting, flaps up, and everything like that actually seems alright. Okay. Looks good to me. So let's do the after takeoff checklist. Landing gear, up, flaps, up, after takeoff checklist complete. So, time to start climbing a bit. Okay, autopilot. So, you will notice that there is a little change over here in that they finally got the correct colors for the buttons on the MCP, which is one of the changes that we've seen with the update. So apart from that, they also did some retexturing here in the cockpit, and it might just be an impression of mine because it's honestly been a little while since I flew the 787 last time, but it does seem like everything is a little bit cleaner and the colors just seem more accurate, but I might totally be mistaken on that, and that might not have been part of the update. I don't know, but it's going to be interesting to find out about that. Okay, let's cancel that altitude restriction and we'll go all the way up to cruising level, which is going to be 410. Another new part over here with the update is that the maximum flight level is now correctly in the system at flight level 430, which it should be for the 787-8. Right now it's 415, but obviously we still have a little bit of weight to burn, and I'd say that is pretty much our first departure. So let's adjust that heading back, and we are passing flight level 100. Okay, set standard. Standard cross-check passing level 103 now. And I would say let's wait until we are past the clouds and then we can turn off the seatbelt sign. So that's what our route looks like down there. Okay, reaching our climb speed, resuming the climb. We're going to keep the climb D-rate over here in, because the plane is pretty much flying quick enough anyway. Or climbing quick enough anyway. And we're at a rather light weight for a Boeing 787, so if we went full climb now, the thing would skyrocket up. And that wouldn't be very comfortable for the passengers as well, would it? Not that they do notice the rate of climb, but they do notice your deck angle. And anything below 7.5 is usually quite good for the cabin crew as well. Okay, above the clouds, seatbelt off, and then I would say, let's expedite this a little bit, and then I see you all again as we start our preparation for the arrival over at Casablanca. So in the meantime, enjoy the nice weather, enjoy the good scenery, and I see you all again in a few moments. We have just overflown Malaga down here, and that means that the Moroccan coast is in reach already. So, great looking airplane, I have to say. Absolutely great looking airplane. And now, let's quickly go ahead and start a little bit of a setup. You can see there's a little bit of a mess there in the flight plan, so let's go ahead and tidy that up. So, as always, if you have a strange looking flight plan, first thing we're going to do is just to stroll through it to see exactly what is there in what direction. And this definitely looks like something that we do not necessarily want to have. Oh, no, 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 no. Okay, so I think we actually need to have a look into the chart. So, we've got the 201 Alpha arrival. Let's see what that should look like. So, from Tuzor, Dirat, Bismi, Gotpo, Kotak. So let's see what we have. Tuzor, Dirat, Bismi, Gotpo, Kotak. That looks about alright. Then to Sierra Lima Kilo and into the final. But why do we have it several times? What's wrong there? So a quick look into our flight plan should help us with that. So we have, let's see, what should be prior to Tuzor? There should be Baris. If we go back one, we don't have that. Okay, so this is where it messes up. Okay, let's take Tuzor. I can't find any Baris at all over here, but I can find... Let's see. Malaga, Pimos, Galto. Okay, Galto looks good. You know what? After Galto we'll proceed towards Tuzor, and that is going to solve our problem. And all of a sudden the top of descent is in reach. So let's go ahead and compare things. We already checked this. Approach is going to be, let's have a look. 3-5 left or right, both of them work. And according to the plan, we're going for 3-5 right, so we'll have the shorter taxi in. That looks about right for me, so we have an ILS Yankee approach planned there. Initial approach, do we need that? No, we don't really. From Kotak, yeah, we can have a look at the chart, and that's about it. Okay. So, Kotak, Sierra Lima Kilo onto the final, and that looks about right. So from here on, let's see, VNAV, descent, forecast, transition level by ATC, and if we have a quick look into the weather, 350, it's 131016, so transition level is going to be 50. Like that. Okay, bit of wind data. Like so. And then wind data block 346 at 40, and obviously 246 at 40. Then we have 223 at 32. And level 150227 at 35. And at level 100, 237 at 26. Okay, perfect. Then let's see. We arrive with 4.7 tons of fuel, 6.5 is current, so we're going to burn 1.8, and that's a landing weight of 158.8. So, flap 30 landing, and we're going to use auto brakes 2. And that should hopefully bring us off if everything goes right. Let's see, bring us off right at uniform 1 onto the first high speed, then via Mike Echo to the apron, and we're going to park somewhere over there. Let's see if we can also get some hands on the parking stands. Here we go. Okay, so uniform 1, Mike onto the apron, and then we're going to park over here. And that should be it. So let's see, minimums for the approach. We have down here 871. So let's try to dial that in. That's going to be the one big challenge again. Here we go, 871 is in, and QNH 1016, we may also pre-select that. Here we go. Okay, and that is it. Alright. Then let's go ahead and quickly run the descent checklist. Recall, checked, auto brakes, 2 landing data, Vera 3136, minimum 871. Approach briefing complete, descent checklist complete. Alright, and like that we can now continue for our approach. Approaching flight level 100. I turned the seatbelt on just prior to the start of the descent, and just an interesting note over here on the FO's navigation display. You can see how there's some terrain over flight level 100 all the way over here in Morocco. So that's the Atlas Mountains, if I'm not mistaken there. Okay, so going to continue the descent. Let's go all the way down to 3,600, which is where we are going to start the approach. Set altimeter 1016. Cross-check passing 10,100 now. Okay, I might need a little bit of speed brake here. So let's get that out. Just to get the speed down at 250. I don't know why the target speed went down to 141. There is just no reason why it should do that, but well, I suppose we just have to live with it. Okay, 250 knots. Our profile is still calculated for 250 knots, so theoretically speaking, in an idle path descent, the airplane should nicely maintain the speed, because the VNAV profile is based on the speed that it is supposed to fly. So, FMC message, we can click that away. Okay, through 10,000, lights are coming on, and recall is checked once again. Perfect. So, let's read the approach checklist. Altimeters, QNH 1016. Approach checklist complete. As a European, I always find the Moroccan terrain really amazing. Every time I'm flying there. In real life, when we went down to Marrakesh, just like in the simulator when I'm going to, well, all those lovely places down here, the terrain is just unique. And the 787 is looking really good. Just saying. Okay, cool, so let's go straight back into the cockpit, as we're about to approach our final turn, passing 7,000, speed 220. Well, you know what, I'm going to use a little bit of thrust to bring my speed back. Obviously, I could just go speed in event as well. 250. And that's going to solve all my speed problems as well. So again, that's something from the working title plane. I saw it doing that a couple of times already. Unfortunately, I don't know why. But it looks like the Kuro mod doesn't seem to have a solution for that. Now, it's probably not meant to have a solution for that in the first place, so keep that in mind when I'm talking about it. Okay, let's put the speed, let's close the speed window again, and start about our final turn. Remaining distance should be around, come on progress page, 18 miles, perfect. So we can start our deceleration. We are roundabout on the glide slope here already. And indeed, you can see the plane has a deceleration segment built into the VNAV over here. Okay, so flaps 1, let's see what it's gonna do. And that's flap 1. Barely any reaction of the plane to it at all, which, again, is not necessarily wrong, quite the opposite indeed. And turning final. It's beautiful, isn't it? Okay then. Approach. Okay, speed, localizer, glide slope. So, go around altitude 4000 set. That's our field in sight on the 12 o'clock. Flaps 5. Something I really like about the 787-8 is that it flies a little bit proper speeds with the flaps out. So the 10 always has incredibly high speed, so you need huge flap settings in order to get down to the typical approach speeds that you would experience flying in the real world. So it's quite nice if you can do this like, well, this is similar to my 737. Flaps 5, about 180 knots. In the 737 it would be a little bit lower, like 165 or so. But we can do 180 in flap 5, that's perfectly fine for me. And we can maintain this a little bit longer on the approach to like 8 miles or so. Then flap 15 is going to give us a nice little speed decrease before we then go gear down flap 20. As we're established on the final, speed brake armed. Okay, so nine miles out, 180 knots ground speed. Let's fly this until we're at 8 miles, then we'll take another notch of flaps. And that is going to reduce our speed a little bit further. Okay, 8 miles, flaps 15. So look at how much speed we can lose over here. That's about 20 knots by going to flap 15. So if you need that 160 knots until 4 DME, as ATC is often going to ask you to fly, flap 15 is your go-to flap setting. But still it doesn't decelerate too strongly, so if you look at this, it makes for a nice approach with the engines in idle thrust. Okay, 6 miles, gear down, flaps 20. Speed breakers aren't already, perfect. Then flaps 30. Landing checklist. In a second at least, once the flaps are out. Okay, landing checklist. Speed brake, armed, landing gear, down, flaps 30. Landing checklist complete. Alright, perfect. So, let's take over manually and see how the airplane is going to feel in manual flight. I'm going to keep the auto thrust in. We are allowed to do that. On the 787, it's only the 737 where you shouldn't do it because of the strong pitch thrust couple that can easily destabilize your approach. So, roughly 0 degrees pitch, tiny bit less, that is correct, as per the airspeed unreliable tables in the QRH, which is usually a great source for determining your required attitude and power settings. Passing 1000, we are fully stabilized. The challenge is to keep it right on the flight director now, in order to fly as precise as possible. You can see the flight director of the HUD over here is so much more precise than the flight director on your PFD. So this really gets you to fly very, very accurately if you do it correctly. If you do it incorrectly, it's going to lead to a lot of pitching around, and that's just not nice. But like this, looks really beautiful. So, auto thrust lets the speed drop a bit there, but it's recovering. And due to the larger speed change, we also need to change our pitch, but that looks alright. Okay, continue. So, let's see how this is gonna land. Very nice. Okay, speed brake up, reverse normal. Manual brakes. Okay, 80 knots, let's go out of reverse, we'll just let it roll to the next exit. Or we might actually just take this one here as well. That's one earlier than what we had originally planned, but if we can make it, we can make it. Okay, 10 knots. And vacating the runway. Nice, so we have vacated. Let's immediately add a little bit of thrust in order to get it moving. And I don't know if you noticed it, but with the previous version in turns, you lost quite a lot of speed. I have a feeling that is gone now. And indeed it should be gone, because that's part of what they worked on for the update. So, cleaning that stuff up, APU start, and then it is really not all that far to the terminal, which is just over here. So I'm going to go straight onto the apron, and then we'll make a left-hand turn and see which gate we are going to roll to. Right is clear, left is clear. For a moment that tree over there looked to me like it was an airplane on the approach to the opposite side, but I would have been surprised. Okay, idle thrust, let's see what's gonna happen. Okay, need a little bit of brakes. So I'll keep the thrust in idle for the turn this time. And over we go. So, keep an eye on your speed. And it's a constant 9 knots. What is that guy doing here? Thank you very much. I'm just gonna ignore him. Welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator. But okay, that looked alright to me. So, let's go one gate further. Then we have the nice name of the airport directly in front of us. I'm sure some of you guys are going to find that a bit nicer. And with that, we are pretty much ready to turn onto the gates. Weather radar off, lights off. And then we're going to take Bravo 6. Again, quick look at the speed, and it actually stays exactly where it is. Very good. Okay, let's break it down. I think those are static there, but we should be more or less where we want to be. Okay. Parking brake set, APU running, shutdown. Cabin crew, all doors in park. Engine 1 and 2 below 20%. Shutdown checklist. Hydraulic panel. Set. Fuel pumps off. Flaps up. Parking brake. Set. Fuel control switches. Cut off. Shutdown checklist complete. Alright guys, that's it. The first flight with the Kuro 787-8 version 2.1. I hope that you have enjoyed this one. Do let me know in the comments below. I'm looking forward to what you think about this update and what you think about the new flight dynamics. In the meantime, if you liked the video, be sure to also leave a like within YouTube, as it really helps out the channel. And if you are looking for more, then subscribe. And finally, I'm looking forward to read what you think in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching. I see you all again on the next one. And if you really love my videos, why not leave a small donation through the Buy Me a Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you very much, and see you all again on the next one.